Welcome to the post show. I am Elsie, and this is the post show for episodes 96, 97, and 98. And for Christmas, I want a house.
Yes, we are recording this during Christmas.
Yes, I want a house. What about you, Abby? All you want for Christmas is a
Can I pass for a minute? I don't know.
Okay, then popcorn someone.
World
Evan.
peace.
World peace.
Bam.
Okay.
World peace. All right, Miss USA.
I want $1 million and a pony and $1 million for my pony.
Please remember these people want to know your names.
You said Evan.
No,
I said Evan. I said Evan.
She said
didn't
Evan, which
hear
is
it.
why I spoke. Hello, my name is Evan. And for Christmas this year, I would like $1 million and a pony and $1 million for my pony.
Don't let him lie to you. He wanted one of those cast iron Dutch ovens.
Well, what did you want, Becky?
And $1
For
million.
children to not fight in a clean house. Everything that every single mom wants.
Oh, I
Yeah,
know.
We don't
Yeah.
need peace on earth. We just need peace in the house.
That is
That's a
Earth.
good start.
What about you, David?
I would like to eat and not get fat.
Oh,
I would just like to eat and not feel gross and my body hate me afterwards.
That too.
Yeah.
yeah. Abby, back to you.
An in-house maid would be lovely.
You can pay me.
No, free one.
Oh,
Or
okay.
one that I want enough money that I never have to worry about money ever again.
And then you can pay me to clean your house.
Yeah.
Cool.
And an egg brush.
Did we not get Zeb?
Oh, an egg brush. Oh.
He wanted world peace.
Yeah.
Realistically?
Yeah, for real
No,
life.
no, we're saying unrealistic things.
Oh, unrealistic things?
Oh, yeah, then my children
World
do not
peace.
fight in.
I mean, I want a house.
Our
Come on,
answer's
guys.
the same on that one.
Not in this economy.
For real.
It's true.
A real present. I would love a egg brush. The good egg brush thingy.
You're a nerd.
I
I
want a
got
ring doorbell.
chickens.
You want a ring doorbell? Oh. Yeah, I don't necessarily want that brand, but
Yeah, it doesn't have to be that
Yeah, I'd be
brand,
down
but
with that.
just
It's beautiful.
a doorbell that
yeah.
Yeah.
tells me who's at my door.
I can
who's
yell at
walking on
people
my
without
street.
being in the house. Get off my lawn!
Exactly.
Beautiful. all right. Episode 96, as my notes say. What? Oh, these are questions. We had a fight with these misty dementors.
Kind of. but
And
not really.
they were sucking the life out of Roscoe, specifically.
They kissed him.
And Boudreaux made a wind wall so that we could all escape. But Roscoe wanted, he was out.
It was unconscious for this episode at the end of that episode.
Yes. So,
And Henley rescued him.
yeah, totally.
Yeah.
That
It was a
at,
good
know
effort.
what?
Good effort.
About
she didn't
that.
get attacked by it
at
at
the
that point. It's a
end of
rescue.
that episode. That is an accurate statement.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. You know, she didn't incur
Yeah.
opportunity attacks.
Just-
So, yeah.
she did avoid
rescued.
2 of those.
Yeah.
Did,
We have a question.
what question?
Okay. What do you think Fenrir could or should have done instead of doing the blasty thingy through the wall?
Heal Roscoe.
That's all your fault, Benny.
Hindsight's 2020. Definitely should have healed Roscoe.
Well, I
You
have
know
a question,
what,
though.
Boudreaux? Heal Roscoe.
We could have had more fallen people.
I don't care.
In that defense, Boudreaux went before Roscoe.
I
So
know.
That is also true.
And I
don't
think
care.
Boudreaux made the right choice with the wind wall. That was a really good move.
Mm-hmm.
It
yes.
was a really solid move.
Yes.
The wall was not solid. Thank you.
Yeah, it was air. Duh.
Yeah. I totally airbendered it, too. Okay, but for realsies, Fenrir,
Oh.
Zeb, with that whole thing where you like shocked him or whatever through the wall,
Shatter.
shattered him. Yeah, did shatter. you're scared. Oh no, wait, you explained it. Never mind. I was gonna ask if you were like you're scared of death, so why did you do that? But then I remembered that you were like, oh, but if
We're
I'm
all
gonna be
dead.
the one to die, then that's cool because I'm basically dead. That's what you said, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Uh,
Never mind then.
It was a debate where like he was gonna try to protect his party,
Yeah.
and so that's why he used Shatter
Yeah.
at that point. He was trying to get their attention off of his party and onto him
Yeah.
with his
I
images and
No.
I like that.
No, that's right.
I don't think anything should have changed.
but I should have healed Roscoe.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
So I guess let's get on to the meat.
Yeah, the meat.
Oh,
To be
too.
fair,
goodness.
okay, so hold on though.
And
I mean,
the potatoes.
like,
Oh.
especially if they're blue. I mean, you would have healed me, but in all reality, your heal would have done nothing because at the exact same time that I lost all that health, I also lost all of my HP.
A good
No,
chunk of the
not
max
all
HP.
of it. You
Right.
lost 18 points of your
19.
max.
19.
points
Right.
of your
So,
max.
but I'm saying is like where I was sitting at health wise, it really wouldn't have done anything because he shattered before I was unconscious.
No.
No, he shattered after.
After she got you, he came and you told
Yeah,
us.
I
you,
was-
like,
Was it
were all
after?
running
Yeah.
away.
I was after.
It was after.
I was
Okay.
last because I
You're right.
screwed up
okay.
the order.
But yeah, he would only been able to heal you to that 11,
11. Right.
which is something.
Yes, it's life.
Live.
You would not have died.
Hey, we haven't got there yet.
Okay, but okay. Here's the thing. Okay, now that he's like gone,
Whoa. No, we're not.
We're not there yet.
now that he's like not there right
Unconscious.
now. Okay, but he's like, in limbo.
I'm living on a prayer.
Yeah.
He's only
Would
halfway
that
there,
have been the 19 that was taken off of his total health? Would that have been permanent?
No, after a long rest, it came back.
Okay.
There are some spells that are more permanent. than
That's
that.
what I was wondering. I was like, oh, well, like, because at that point, is it worth? Would it be worth
Yeah.
it to him? How would that have affected him long term
Mm-hmm.
Right.
if it was
Right.
permanent?
The
Next
wind-
question.
Oh,
Go
well, I
ahead.
was going to say it. With the wind wall, I was either thinking of doing that, trying to see if I could do that thing, turn undead. I was going to try that. But I was mostly not going to do that. I was thinking of doing the necromantic heal, taking my health away for Roscoe.
Oh,
Yeah.
is that a permanent one?
Mm-mm.
Okay,
It's just a heal. But still.
That would have been really cool.
Heal.
that would have been from the staff.
Oh, yeah. But that goes to the next
I
question.
tried really hard to fight those guys off, and I'm very proud of my paladin moves of defending Keth a little bit.
Yeah, that
For
was
the last time.
So,
Hold on. Wait, we're so stupid, guys. There was chaos points involved. And how many times have we healed Keth?
chaos points cannot be used on characters.
Not characters.
What the
Yeah.
heck? I don't remember that.
That
okay.
was discussed at the very beginning.
Okay, do you know how long it's been since we've used chaos points?
It's been a very long time.
But
And how often did I actually use them? Hardly ever, I don't think. I just talk
Just
about
not-
them
I
all the
feel
time.
like I don't know what the initial roll was,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel like I probably maybe saved Keth's life a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Oh,
you
yeah,
said
so-
there was let's talk
It was
about that a
natural
little bit.
20 initially.
'Cause it was-
Yes.
It was Red
It was
Eye
Dire.
He rolled the nat 20
Who-
on Keth, right?
Just for the audience, Ko-Fi members and you guys, he was a wraith,
Oh,
is
geez.
what he was.
Oh gosh.
It's a good thing we ran away.
We bravely ran away.
Yeah, and him and the Spectrals, which was the Spectres, which were the other ones, they both have an ability called Drain, Life Drain. And their DCs are different and whatnot. But for the Wraith, it's 4d8 plus 3.
Oh, he
So
would've
it
been
would
dead.
have 8d8.
One shot.
And 4d8 of that would have been maxed.
So he would have been dead.
Yeah. So that was like 32 automatic boom. And
Yeah,
then
so you
if he
saved Keth's
didn't
life.
save his con save, that 32 plus rolling that 48
He would have been dead.
almost, depending on his next depending on how those next 4 rolled,
Yeah.
could have been an auto death.
So Roscoe saved his life.
Yes.
That's
Saved
what
his
we're
life.
getting at here,
Yeah.
okay?
Yes.
Roscoe did things with this shiny shield.
So now, because of that, Roscoe is now Keth.
Yeah.
I'm so mad about that.
I agree.
He
Kinda
saved
cool.
me,
So
now I'm part
Roscoe's
of party.
final act as a paladin was to save his comrade's life.
Mhm.
And that would have been a Roscoe move
What a very
either way.
Roscoe.
Yep.
Okay, let's go to the next one. What's going on in the next episode?
How?
Roscoe died.
Gosh, I didn't ask you, Abby. Gosh.
The question is,
I'm aware.
how do you feel about Roscoe being unconscious?
Unconscious.
I
Uh,
think
Next.
So going into this episode, just to set the scene for everyone.
Yeah, we're going into 97 now.
We're going into 97.
Oh.
I have a third question first.
Oh, what's the third question?
What is Evan's backup character?
Okay.
Let's
So-
talk about the death first, and then we'll talk.
I'm just going in order.
So I rolled a nat 1 on my first save.
I've lost 2 characters by rolling nat ones on a death
and
save.
that's really painful because that's actually my second nat 1 of the night.
Yes.
And luckily my first one I had, the halfling feat. Well, that doesn't really work for, staying alive. So we went into the end of this was episode 97, right?
Roscoe died at the beginning of episode
Yeah.
97.
Okay, so the end of 96,
Mhm.
I already had 2 strikes against me.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and I feel like Henley's actions spoke for themselves when the first thing that she did was to run in against the specters.
Oh my gosh, it was so much growth, Abby. Like most of the time, like yes, I think that you probably before you would have been conflicted and been like, I need to help them, but I'm not going to get up close. But there's so much growth from when we started with Henley to where we are now with Henley. She ran in there, and
to get Roscoe
yeah.
out. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm so proud.
we tease her a lot for running away.
Oh,
A lot.
She's amazing though. I love Henley.
But this time she
I
did
love
not.
Henley.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of growth there.
Well, she doesn't usually run away in battle.
No, not in battle.
She
She
did
just
that
stays
one
back.
She
time.
backs away a lot.
Yeah.
Which is okay because
She's ready.
She
I'm
runs
a
away-
ranger.
no, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Is your primary is far, far away.
She runs away when situations are dire, but not the battle.
When they
Yes.
just get emotional.
When things get emotional.
And with that, 90.
Ne-
97.
Roscoe died.
Whap.
After a very long discussion over lunch.
So
we did,
So-
yes.
Well, real fast. Sorry. Let me recap the episode. But we
Okay.
can talk about the whole thing. Okay. Roscoe dies. Tick wants to loot Roscoe's body. Henley and Tick fight about racism.
Yeah.
And Fenrir sits. Delvin heads to Henley. Boudreaux to Tick. Please.
That was 2 episodes.
Nope.
Nope.
No, that was one.
That was one.
that was all that
Why
episode.
do you deny my notes?
Yeah, that's the only time she takes notes, Abby.
I'm pretty sure that Delvin came in
No,
No, he was sent
76.
He was sent
Oh, he
off.
was sent off.
Yeah.
Yes.
but
off. Didn't talk until
Sorry.
yeah,
Evan.
Please.
yes.
Kick
So
us off.
there was an immense amount of discussion, a very, very intense discussion on how this was going to play out. We were not determining the fate of Roscoe. For the record, I want to make that very, very clear.
Kind of.
Well, okay, I mean, but like we were determining the fate of Roscoe by letting the dice play.
Yeah.
We were not saying, okay, we're going to make it so Roscoe dies, because none of us wanted that.
Kind of.
We, as we went into our lunch break in between the 2 episodes, I was talking with Dave, and I was thinking about it a little bit. I was like, for me, as you know, as I stated in the episode, for me, the group initiative I like, but for this sort of scenario, there's no
Buy-in.
Risk.
there's no risk exactly, and so that's why I was talking to Dave, and I said I think I should roll first. because in the group initiative, it's my name's Boudreaux. I'm just gonna go first so I can heal you, and there's no risk, and so going into a battle knowing that, it almost makes you want to be riskier, knowing that there's a much higher probability that you're going to come out alive in a group initiative than in a regular initiative. And so that was my thing. And then I know Abby did not agree with the decision, but she agreed with the wordage behind it, right? Kind of explain your thoughts.
I did not agree with it at first. But there was something that you said.
They did start talking about it while I was in the bathroom, though, so I could not defend my point from the beginning.
Yes.
True.
We played both sides though while you were in the bathroom.
We did.
Just so you know.
And
I
it
think
was.
why we do this. We might want to go around the circle and everybody can explain if we want.
I agree, actually.
So starting with Abby.
It wasn't. It was something that you said personally as, like, Evan. It wasn't the risk factor. It wasn't that convinced me at all. I don't remember what you said, but it was.
I think it was about the risk. You were like, there's no point. No? Okay, cool.
I don't think.
For me, and I don't know if maybe this is what it was, but for me, it was about you guys, about the audience. Is we're here and we're doing this, and to be honest, sometimes we rig the deck a little bit. I mean, it's just kind of not. I mean, like, we're 3.5 years in and nobody's died, which is very, very awesome.
Oh, Hanley has died.
Okay, you're right. Henley has died, but I mean.
Okay, bring up the bug yourself this time.
I wanted it to be like real raw emotions, and that's.
Well, we had plenty of those this episode.
And the point that was brought up as well, it's like metagaming is using player knowledge, influencing your character knowledge. And the argument was, well, if we keep this same order, we know we have 3 healers in here. So we can stack the deck in our favor to put the healers, because that's how our group initiative works. We get to choose who goes through, who's first, who's second.
It goes ranged, magic users, melee, and rogue.
Not all the time. That's how we decided to do it to begin with.
Right.
That's not how we did it all the time.
But like Evan says, that kind of, I let you guys stack the deck in your favor.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it loses that anxiety, that nervousness, that drama of my character could possibly die. And
it
so
makes up for the difference because we do roll an initiative, and you could have the bad guys go twice and not have the healers go.
exactly. And it could have gone that way as well. And so when Evan made that comment to me, I was like, hey, I think this is my opinion. I think fallen people should go first. To add that, I agreed to it. As a player myself, if another player decided to do that, I would be upset. I'd be like, whoa, hold on. I want to help. I don't want your character to die. But as the DM, I kind of liked that. It was like, there's that risk. There's that drama.
Yeah.
That's what influences the story. Yes, there's still that metagaming of, from now on, when we do group, somebody's down. Next time we have a turn, that's the first person we go to. But in all honesty, that's how we would be in real life. We see somebody go down. We don't hang around and continue fighting in our own. We try to get to that person.
Well, and it will help too. We're not going to call out death saves anymore.
Correct. And we did change that too, of the death saves will be between DM and player.
Hopefully,
To
we don't
add
have
that-
to worry about that for a while, though.
Yeah.
I don't know,
So,
we'll see how things pan out.
Anyways, you were going to say.
My turn?
Yeah.
Turn. Elsie, go.
Yeah, what do you want to say?
Abby, did
Are
you
you sure?
finish, or did?
She's
Did
like,
you
I
have a
can't
comment
remember
about
what
the
it
death
was.
save
Something
thing?
that
Oh.
you said.
Did you have anything to add
Sorry,
to
I
that,
didn't mean-
Evan?
didn't mean
Or
to
sorry,
cut you
Zev?
off.
Not to this comment. Like, I want to talk about Roscoe's death is mine.
Hmm.
The next, but
We
I
roll.
can.
Yeah.
But
Is it my turn?
yeah,
Cool. So how I felt. So I don't mind, I love having the normal initiative. I think group initiative is cool. I'm cool with it. But I like the normal because it does make it so that we can just kind of do it, and it has more risk kind of involved. And so one of the things I said, and I think somebody else said it too, like, if David was to have changed and said, okay, down player goes first, it wouldn't have been fair in my mind because David hadn't set that as a rule yet.
Yeah, Abby said that.
Precedent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it wouldn't be fair to us, although I totally agree we should do that in the future, in my opinion. But
Have the fallen roll first.
yeah,
That's exactly what I said when we were having our discussion.
but at the moment, like, we didn't know that, and so it wasn't fair. But then also, I said as well that in group initiative, though, we all have to agree this is what we're gonna do. Before
As an
we move
order.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the order of who is gonna go, and so it brought up that conflict of, well, I want to go first, and Roscoe wanted to go first.
Well, I think this is the first time really when we did group initiative that there have been multiple of us, or really any of us that weren't
Well, yeah.
really wanting to say, okay, well, if you want to go first, that's fine. You can go
Mhm.
first.
We weren't
Because
willing
when
to back down.
we've done this before, whether we've disclosed or not disclosed what we wanted to do, because sometimes we do, sometimes we don't.
Yeah.
Then usually it's like, oh, Abby's like, I want to go first. And I'm like, oh, I want to go first. And she's like, okay, well, if you want to go first, that's fine. Or like, but we've never had it before where it's like, no, I am not backing down. I
Yeah.
want to go first.
And the only thing I would have changed about what we did,
Is
although
Yeah.
it does not matter, and I am aware of that, is since me and Roscoe rolled against each other, I think it would have been cool if we could have added our initiative.
To add the initiative.
I mean,
I almost wonder if like next time when we do it, because the audience doesn't know this, but when I roll initiative, I roll it out in the open
yeah.
so everybody can see.
Yeah.
So maybe doing that between you guys as well, when you guys challenge each other for initiative,
We
that
did.
it's as in like maybe
It's just harder, like,
On the middle table.
oh, okay, like
that's
I don't know.
harder to
Yeah,
do,
throw it.
though.
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
more open. Got it.
Or on D&D Beyond.
hold on to you
Oh, yeah, we
again.
could
Ah,
roll
yeah.
on Beyond.
Absolutely not.
I hate the dice on Beyond, but that's okay.
Anyways, David.
I like to like roll 100 d4s when I'm bored.
That's fair.
All the other the group that I play with, they're always like, "The heck, David." But anyways, yeah. So yeah, from now on, that's how we're gonna do group initiative. Like Elsie was alluding to, if two people wanted to go first, or two people wanted to go last, or whatever position, they could do a dice off to see who gets it.
I did like
Yeah.
the fact that you had to say it at the same time, though.
Yes.
Because then it's like, not that I think any of us fudge our rolls at all,
Mhm.
but if there was somebody to fudge their roll, there is no chance
It'd be-
of fudging your roll.
Be very tempting, right?
Well,
But at the same time, why?
Why
here's
fudge it?
a distracting question.
Ooh.
A little bit.
Squirrel.
Another thing that I thought as well, although it doesn't matter,
Mhm.
is like, okay, Zeb wanted to roll differently than me, so maybe if I win or whatever, then, sorry, it doesn't matter. He won, so maybe because his decision was different, he could choose to leave the group initiative and have his own initiative.
So that would still put him either first or last. Is that
You
what
would
mean?
have to roll against the bad guys again in a separate group. Because, like, let's say we were to actually split
that would
the
be
group.
Because
I don't think that's possible.
the whole point of group
It
initiative
does
is
make
so
sense to
all
me,
the
but
good guys and all
I
the
said
bad
this
guys
was a
go together.
distractive question.
Would they each roll a d6 then? And
Yeah.
then you just go
Yeah,
in,
so it'd be
highest
his
goes first,
d6.
He is a
and the
whole
next lowest.
separate group
right.
from us.
So there's 3 different groups fighting.
Yeah.
He rolls a 6, you roll a 5, he rolls a 4. It's 1. He goes first, you go second, he goes third.
I think
Yeah.
the whole point of group initiative, though, and why David did it was because there was a lot, especially when you get a lot of, there's us players, but then when you get a lot of NPC fighting too, sometimes it's really hard to, okay, you haven't. So it made it easier on David.
Well, and that's fine. It was just
It's an interesting suggestion.
And we could have cinematic moments like when Fenrir and Henley comboed a move in when we fought the back alley boys.
Right.
Yeah. But all I'm basically saying is, like, let's say we were to one day split the group. Let's say boys and girls. We could have, like,
Hold on, male, like character wise,
Like-
or like
people, humans, players.
Okay,
Players. Like, if we were to do that, then we could have, like, 2 different groups fighting or whatever.
I think the only
Not
thing-
important. I was just.
I think if they had 2 different
Right.
enemies,
or
Yeah.
like
I don't care. I
that'd
was
be
just-
that'll be
yeah.
interesting.
two
when,
different. They were coming at him at 2 different directions.
yeah.
Up on the hill and down
Now-
below the valley.
We can
Mhm.
move on from the distraction.
Anyways.
I'm sorry.
Anyways,
Would you like to
Roscoe
go?
died. About this particular, I don't have an opinion. I don't care.
That's fine.
I think
That's
I
very
stated that
tick of you.
before.
I'm one that likes to leave it up to the dice.
Yeah, I'm very
That's
much
me.
the same way. I don't. It doesn't matter to me. It's like the same way when Lila and Garotha had their death saves that they were rolling back in the with caves
in the caves, yeah.
I text David what my
Mhm.
stuff was because I didn't want something like I didn't want to know. I didn't want you guys to know. As the player that knows that information, I didn't want the rest of you to know because I wanted you guys to do what you would do no matter what.
Yeah.
As being on the other side of it, I did not enjoy that. I think that was mostly because it's my husband's character and I love that character.
Yeah.
But for the general consensus of this, I don't care. Just let the dice decide.
Mhm.
That's the point
Gotcha.
of this game.
It is, and if
Next question.
because I
Yeah.
because I know I've
Right.
listened to podcasts and stuff like that, and they've come out and revealed that there's been some situations that they went back, recorded different things because the dice didn't
Do what they wanted.
do what they wanted, and it kind of ruined the show for me. I'm not going to say what show it was, but it going through that adventure and then learning that kind of ruined the whole story for me. I felt cheated. And that's what we wanted to do with you guys. Because I will be honest, when Evan sent that text of
Mhm.
what it was, a number 2, he rolled a 2, 1 and 2. I seriously wanted to ignore that. I really did. I wanted to ignore that and be like, oh, never. I wanted to, hurry up and text him and be like, we're changing this. There was a part of me that did, but
You mean 12, right?
yeah, did you forget a 1? Tell me you forgot a 1. There was a part of me that wanted to, but I would have cheated everybody of what we got. Yeah, it sucks. Roscoe is gone.
Also, our long discussion would have been for naught.
Yes. But I think the emotion that we had,
Oh,
I mean, it was all raw. Like, it was hard. Beginning of an episode, it's not even one of those times where I could end the episode and then we could go deal with it. It was right at the beginning of the episode. We had to, what are we going to do for the next 55 minutes to an hour? How are we going to get through this? And all that emotion was raw. The reactions were raw. And where do you get that other than a TTRPG?
TTRPG?
Yes. At a table like this. And that would have been cheated if me or Evan would have
Yeah.
changed the role. And I'm interested to see how everything goes. I mean, the leader's gone. How does the group react? How do they come back together?
Henley's in charge.
Before we
No, Fanny's in
before we
charge. already
question
made
this
that decision.
more,
Yes.
Zeb, please share
Share what?
your feelings
We-
on
What's the question?
Please restate the question.
Yeah.
the conversation of the dice. And
I'm done with the conversation with dice.
Oh, yeah. He already
so
said that.
we
He's
moved
like,
on.
just let the fake
I am
decide.
so sorry I missed
No,
it.
you're good.
Okay.
You leave it to the dice. I like leaving it to the dice.
Got it. Well, then let's go to our characters' emotions as David was going.
Characters' emotions or players' emotions?
Yes.
Let's recap
They were two different
episode
things.
98 and we can talk about everything because it was where more of the emotions came in.
Yes,
and no.
98.
Let's do that, and then we'll talk about both of them at the same time.
Okay. In episode 98, Boudreaux and Tick talk about anger and racism, etc. And Delvin talks to Henley, and they tell stories and stuff. And Delvin and Tick and Fenrir go look at Cloth Dez's sword.
So the question then is, how did our characters and how did we feel about Roscoe's death? Is that, the
and
question?
why did you react the way you did? Explain
'Kay.
everything you desire.
Who do you want to start?
You. Go.
You.
Me.
You.
And we'll end with the DM. We'll go this way.
Okay.
Roscoe has decided. In his death,
His last wish.
he would like to hear about how we feel.
It was actually harder than I anticipated.
Yeah.
Like when it first happened, I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. Like it like stuff happens. It's just the way it rolls. And then as I got into the conversations started talking about it in character with, I can't remember who it was in 97. But I think, or in 90, I remember who I was talking to.
When you sent the letter?
Yeah, it was when I was sending the letter. It was when I was sending the letter in 98. To Lila Grotha. Like, there was some very raw emotion. It'll be interesting to see if it comes across in recording. But yeah, it's sad. It's sad, and it's sad, and it's hard, and it sucks. And I didn't ever think that in a game situation that I could like feel that way, but it's just like, yeah, I mean, we've been with this character for 3.5 years, and we've had a lot of great experiences, and you know, him being the leader, and it's hard, and I think it's going to take, personally, it's going to take a few days to process, and I will, and you know, it'll work out, like it'll be fine, like it'll be okay. It's a TTRPG, but it still brings up the raw emotion, the raw sadness,
Shock.
yeah, just that shock it's sad and it sucks.
Thank you. She
Uh,
cried.
I knew when. Okay, so we got this squishy cheese here, right? That's like supposed to be like a stress ball thing. I knew when he grabbed that stinking cheese, the squeezy cheese, that he was dead. So I kind of like squoze his hand and was processing and stuff like that. I was not happy, but I was okay with it until what I was feeling was in total conflict than what my character was feeling, and then I started to cry.
Yeah.
So my character doesn't care. He doesn't not care because he liked Roscoe. Death is not a big. It's not an uncommon thing.
Well, and you
Especially for
didn't know
goblins.
Roscoe.
I didn't know Roscoe that long, other than he stuck up for me and was like, you know what, you back off, you go in your corner, he'll go in his corner, and we'll all be happy, we'll be fine. And he embodied a lot of the things that Tick wants to see and sees as the good in the world, right?
Yeah.
So he said that is no longer in this plane of existence currently. But death is death. He's not here anymore. We don't need to mourn him. We can mourn him, and the way we mourn him is by taking his stuff, and he lives on through his stuff. And if I need it, I need it. And then I started crying.
Which is kind of what we do nowadays.
And that happened.
Yeah.
But it wasn't sad tears, it was angry tears. I'm like,
Conflict.
I
Yeah.
think they were angry tears at me specifically.
yeah, 'cause I asked him why.
I'll address all of that after Dave.
I asked him why. Yeah, that was it. And then all the weird looks I was getting at the table because I'm like, oh, but this is what my character would do, but I feel bad because this is what my character would do.
It was hilarious.
It was fun to watch. She's like, I don't want to say it, but I'm going to say it.
Yeah.
Loot the body. Which I thought it was very fitting. I thought that was an amazing choice.
It led to
Difficult choice.
very
but
good
difficult
things.
choice.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, you, Elsie, go.
When he was gone, Boudreaux was sad. But he, having been given the gift of the re-life, or whatever you want to call it,
Reincarnation?
no,
No.
because I wasn't going to reincarnate Roscoe.
Revivify.
Oh, revivify. Okay,
Yeah,
bring
revivify
back
him.
From the possibility of a next life.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but he had that feeling that everybody felt of like, nope, I'm good. And Boudreaux was like, okay. Like, is he sad? Yes. And he's like, crap, what are we going to do? I never listened to the adult conversations. But he's like, okay, let's go. And he's trying to let him go, but there was all this conflict going on, and he kind of felt he needed to step in at the moment. And so he did. I think it's also partly the shock too. Like, it hasn't hit him yet. And at the moment, he's just in the mode of, we got to figure this out. I got to make sure everybody's okay, and then maybe it'll hit him later. That's kind of where he's at.
What about Elsie?
Oh, Elsie felt the same way.
Unless that has not been discovered yet,
Yes.
how did Boudreaux feel when Roscoe did not
Want to come back?
take the revivify?
Well, he felt your feelings. And just like with the undead that one guy.
Azil?
Huh?
Azil?
Oh, that is his name. I was going to guess that.
Good job.
Thank you. That Azil did. He brought back the dead. And maybe he's right. Maybe they needed to come back so that they could figure things out, but you were good. And Boudreaux believes that there's no need to bring anybody back, especially if they don't want to. And he's glad that you're happy, and he's like, I guess he's learned what he's need to. He's a little upset, though, of course, but I don't think it's hit him yet. So,
Abby?
Henley is very angry that Roscoe chose not to come back. Just angry that he's dead. And she's lost another comrade. And I'm just really sad because I feel Roscoe held the group together. He was the leader. He meant Henley respected him a lot. She respected him the most out of everyone in the group, including Lila and Garotha, especially after Lila and Garotha left.
Fair.
And so now she just feels, I think, some of her feelings that came back. Like, when her father died, she felt abandoned. I feel like she's reliving some of those emotions, plus the new ones, just feeling like a lost little child again, because she trusted Roscoe to pull her back when she's being childish and dumb. And now she doesn't have that anymore. Yeah.
And how does Abby feel?
I'm sad because Roscoe held the group together, and he just got this really cool arc with becoming a paladin, and now that's all gone. And he was just the real hero out of the party.
Okay. David.
So, I'm conflicted. Because as a storyteller, as somebody creating the story, I like it. It intrigues me to know where things are going to go. It heightens my anticipation and be like, ooh, what's going to happen? As a DM, I'm saddened. Because, like you said, Roscoe was the one keeping the group together. It was, I enjoyed Roscoe and his ability to convince people, to persuade people. I don't know how many times as an NPC I was so staunch about, okay, not going to change my mind, not going to change my mind. And then Roscoe speaks up. It's like, oh, you have a point. You know, there was a lot of times that happened. And so, I mean, Evan's still Evan. He'll probably have a similar character that'll do that. But I don't think as much as Roscoe, you know. So that character, I think he'll continue to live on through for everybody's decisions from here on out. But yeah, it's sad, but I am very intrigued on what will come from this. How will the group continue? I guess
Oh.
it's your turn, Evan.
Oh, is it me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Whew. So I'm very upsetty spaghetti, to be honest. Like it's hard, you know. When I started this character, started Roscoe, you know, Dave and I had talked and laid this out and made adjustments and stuff, but I had no real backstory. I had nothing. It's like I had no idea where I was going. And especially over the course of the last year, he's really, you know, for me, really, really developed and really found, you know, learned who Roscoe was and stuff, and you know, doing what Roscoe does. Then you know, there's the whole arc of the Paladin changing and everything, which was really, really excited to explore and you know have fun with and stuff. And you know, I joked about it even at the beginning of these 3 episodes. Hey, I finally get to do something besides throw my daggers. And I did stuff. You know, I didn't do anything super crazy, but you know, I saved Kath's life, so that's a huge thing. And I think that's, you know, for Roscoe, that's really about as best of a thing you could ask for his last real action to be. Is, you know, putting it on the line for someone else, because that ultimately defines who Roscoe is. You know, I rolled the nat 1 and was very, very apprehensive about everything. Was very, very nervous through all of our lunch break, you know, in the discussions. And, you know, I appreciated everybody's like, well, let's go first so that we can heal Roscoe and keep him alive. Because, you know, there have been times where I felt like Roscoe is just another dude. He's whatever, you know. And then you guys have always, you know, found a way to make both me and him feel really included in the group and everything. And so, you know, that whole part was hard for me to make that decision, and it wasn't contrary to what some people may think. That decision wasn't made in the attempt to kill Roscoe, because it's the last thing on earth that I really wanted to do. But for me personally, like we discussed earlier, the idea of me rolling first before everyone else felt like the right decision. You know, the right move for the character, the right move for the story, the right move for you guys as the listeners, because it brings in that raw emotion, and it brings in that sense of, you know, 3.5 years in, and you know, one of the dudes who takes all the heavy beating can go down just like that. You know, there's no getting past that, you know, and stuff. And so when I rolled the 2 and I sent it to Dave, he did very, very good at not showing anything on his face.
So
It was
did
hard.
you, by the way.
And it was really hard and stuff. And then, you know, to allude to something that, you know, Elsie had brought up a little bit earlier, I rolled it, and then Boudreaux tried healing me, and nothing happened. And then we paused the show for a second, and Dave and I stepped off, and we had a discussion about, you know, what was going to...
Because Hanley stormed off to go charge
yeah.
after the
yeah,
Wraith.
sorry. So so what happened was, you know, Boudreaux came up and tried healing me, and you know, my armor faded, and you know, kind of the brightness around me disappeared. And Dave gave me the opportunity to really choose that effect, because, you know, I thought it was fitting, I guess. I'm a paladin and I've got this really cool armor and stuff that, it just was whatever. But, when we changed into the paladin, I was like, let's make this part of, because I got the smoldering armor back in the caves. And I said, let's make this really a part of this paladin conversion and stuff. And he was really all for that. And so I think that for me, that was kind of where it really started setting in. And then Dave and I stepped off and I said, you know what, Roscoe, and, we've known for ages that we've had that ability for that resurrection from Boudreaux. And I spent a long time thinking about that as to what Roscoe would do. But, I made the decision months ago that if that ever happened, Roscoe wouldn't accept it. And the reason for that being, for Roscoe, it's not that he wouldn't want to come back, but it's, in the very end, something else could come of it. And that's exactly what he used it for. Instead of coming back to life and potentially risking the rest of the group, with the help of his deity Adrestil, helped his one last thing is do what he does and pushed everyone to safety. Henley was in a blind rage. Fanny was struggling with a lot of stuff and everything, and it wasn't, for him, it's like, my life is still not worth risking it the rest of your lives. You guys need to go. And so that's when the emotions for me really, really hit. And I spent the better part of the episode in tears. Like, I'll be honest, I wasn't talking or anything, but if you listen to the episode, the last word that I said was run, and that was hard, really hard for me to get out. Really, really hard for me to get out. And so, we're sitting here now 2 hours later and talking about it, and it's still hard for me. I don't regret the decision. I don't regret what happened whatsoever. It's part of the game, it's part of life, and I think, it's gives us the opportunity to show how different people handle it, and throughout that next episode, that final episode, was it 97? 98?
But what you see in 97 and 98 is kind of follow up from that.
Yeah, between, because I died right at the beginning of the episode. Like Dave said, it's 5 minutes in and bleh, I'm dead. And so all of those emotions that were coming from these people, like, they were acting it, they were putting it on for their characters, but it was 100% real. My wife is furious at me. She's furious at me for letting it happen, but she understands why. Abby's mad. Zeb's. Everything that these guys have said tonight over this is pure emotion, and we opted to go. We do our recording in 3 episode sessions, and we talked about not recording that 3rd session tonight just because of what happened. But we all decided the emotion is there, and it's never going to be. We want you guys to feel that. Mm-hmm. And if we were to stop this, we aren't recording again for probably about 2 months because of my job, and because I have to build a new character. But the experience wouldn't have been the same, 100%. And so for me, it's really, really hard. I'm still, people are like, oh, it's just a game. I was like, yeah, it's just a game. But, for us here, it's, we're all family in this room, and we've grown so much through this experience. And Roscoe, outside of work, it's work. Outside of the podcast, believe it or not, has really, been kind of a guide for me in my life a little bit, and just it helping me to grow the backbone that everybody in this room knows that I don't have sometimes. Especially, if you ask Becky and stuff, she'll be the one that goes and, says grow a spine and stuff. And I think
Probably not in those words.
no, pretty much.
No.
And I think,
You need to stand up for yourself more.
being
That is
able
what I usually say.
to do that in character first has given me the strength to do that, outside in work, in life. Even though I still got a lot of ways to go, but it's gonna be hard for me. I'm not leaving the podcast, just in case anyone is very concerned about that. I'm not going anywhere.
Yay.
Yay!
So sometimes my work might try and disagree with that, but my mom's an avid listener, and I guess in March when this episode releases.
Probably. We're at December 7th right now, 2024.
So when
sorry, Mom.
when this episode releases, although my mom's not going to hear this, #sorry. So, but yeah, I mean it's hard. Character staying on my D&D portal forever. I'm not, I can't just delete Roscoe. I still have Roscoe, and I created Roscoe 2.0 for when we changed to the Paladin. But I've got both of those character sheets, and they're gonna stay there and everything. And so yeah, it's just, it's part of the game at the end of the day. I wouldn't change anything that happened, even if we could. And I'm glad Dave let it happen. I know it's going to be difficult introducing another new player, but it will also be curious and exciting to see what happens when Becky might have to play 3 different characters.
No.
So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, sorry, that's my spiel.
Speaking of raw emotions coming from that, Abby.
What? What about it?
Abby.
You guys had a fight.
Yeah, we had a fight.
It was
I'm sorry.
hard. I hate arguing.
I don't hate arguing all the time. I hate arguing with you.
If it's me, that's a different story.
I will argue all the time with David.
What about me?
You're
Nice.
fun to argue with sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay, I love to banter with you.
My husband agrees. No, just kidding.
Oh.
Yeah, that whole interaction between Henley and Tick. Talk about
I'm
Roscoe
sorry.
just dying, high emotions there, and then all of a sudden Henley's and Tick's emotions boil over as well, how they feel about each other. Like sitting back here, like just seeing honestly, Abby was drilling holes through the back of Becky's head.
I know.
Through the front, really. But
Like
Yeah. I was
Through
trying
the
not
front,
to make eye
coming
contact
out
with
the back.
Abby.
like those
I
moments.
had turned in my chair and my mic just so that I could glare
I
at her.
know, and I was.
Yeah.
But those emotions were so raw and so great. Honestly, I was sitting back here. It's like you could feel the tension and everything, but I wish I had popcorn. Like it was like, oh my gosh, this is wonderful. But for the listeners, after everything was said and done, and the episode ended, like Becky and Abby, like, I'm so sorry, like doing a little.
I had to go
having to
hug
give
it
each other a
out.
hug.
The
Yeah.
first thing, we stopped recording, and the very first thing Becky did was get up and go give Abby a hug.
Yes.
Because
And if she hadn't, I would have done the same. I'm like,
Yes.
I need to know we're okay, Becky.
Yep.
But it's nice to see that you can have those emotions, but yet still, I mean, it's just a game.
Well, yeah, because that wasn't directed at Abby. It was directed at Henley.
Yeah.
But I didn't want. I needed to calm down because I had to get myself in a headspace that was like very irregulated and angry and upset about things that had been, bottled up and stopped because of certain other members in the party. And there was not that buffer anymore. Nobody was stepping up to be a buffer.
excuse me.
Nope, you stepped out of the way.
That's true. It needed to be
I
said.
think actually what you did was you sat down and just watched. I
Well,
think
I
that's
was
what
going
you
to
said.
sit down.
But yeah, Boudreaux stepped back.
Yeah.
That was an interesting choice.
Yeah.
Why? Why did Boudreaux do that?
Duke it out. No, like, honestly, though, Boudreaux's like, well, this probably comes more with Elsie. I have learned lots of things in marriage and family and just being also a peacemaker. And sometimes people just need to just get it out. And honestly, why be in the way of it? I'm not a part of it. Have fun. Like, and
Have fun.
like, so,
it makes it
but
better for you.
sometimes things need to be said and they need to get out. And that's just kind of what Boudreaux was thinking. He was like, oh, you guys are having problems with each other? Okay, fix it. This is part of healing. Because as I have learned in my studies, that there is no such thing as constructive criticism. There is only thing as destroying and rebuilding. And that is what they were in the process of destroying. And you know what? That is violent sometimes. And so that is why Boudreaux stepped back.
It was very violent. I don't think Henley would have reacted that way though if it was somebody else's body. Just saying.
It was especially triggering because it was Roscoe.
I think it was doubly triggering for Henley because it was Roscoe's body and it was a goblin doing it.
Yeah. It mostly because it was Tick.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Well, not Tick himself, just the race goblin.
Yeah. It's a very hype for him. I get it.
Well, and he was in such a way, both of you guys technically, but for Henley specifically, he was your protector emotionally, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. He was
And
kinda
so
your
for him to be gone, you were like, well, crap. And you need to
Well,
protect
Henley
him.
would have
and-
tried to kill Tick a lot earlier if it hadn't been for Roscoe.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So still though, I am sorry. I'm sorry for the listeners that you also had to hear that because I got really. Okay. As a player, I did not get angry, but I still had to put myself in that spot as the character. I, as a player, still stand behind everything that was said as the character, though. I don't think anything was said incorrectly as the character. Although there was something that Zeb said. It's like he was all for it and letting him go and just duke it out and stuff like that until the last thing that Tick said as he stormed off. It's like, this is why I don't trust smooth skins. Like, they all do this. So it was all directed towards Henley, and this is what Henley does, and this is how Henley's acted towards Tick, and it was a boiling point. It's like, cool, duke it out, like Elsie said, until that point, and then he's like, oh, crap, now I gotta, I don't know what to do. I'm too tired
But
for this
Tick,
crap.
I'm a smooth skin. Like,
Yeah. Tick doesn't see him that way, though. Like he does, but he doesn't. Like, he gets that he is that, but he's not really treated him that way.
Right. And Fender has wanted to step in. I shared this with the group. I'll share it here. I know we're short on time, but back in episode 85, I'm not sure when Tick joined the party. Well, back in 85, I have my notes, and I wrote a note that says, let the battle between Tick and Henley play out. And as it goes on and on, if it doesn't work out, have an intervention, sit down, let's talk about it. Let's try to heal this. And so to Elsie's point earlier about, hey, destroying and building up, it was sometimes, you got to get everything on the table and then you can build it back up.
Yep.
And
Which I think is kind of where Tick is at now. It's like, look, I get that I was irrational and I said things and I don't disagree with what I said, but I'm trying to be a better but I'm trying to be a better goblin. I'm trying to be, because his whole thing is if I really believe what Colbath is saying, that we are going to be equal, that we should be equal, I need to treat people, the ones that hate me, as equal still. I cannot treat them like everybody's going to hate me and that I have to go around with a constant chip on my shoulder because of it. I have to give them the benefit of the doubt. Not that saying that my guard isn't going to be up, but I have to give them the benefit of the doubt for this. And so Tick feels like that he has to constantly give Henley the benefit of the doubt, but he didn't this time because of the cultural differences, and there wasn't anything really explained other than just don't touch it, don't do it, this is not okay. But the why it's not okay was still never explained, just like, it's a cultural thing. Great, cool, done. And she's just angry, and she hates him anyways, and he knows that she hates him. And as you get outside of player knowledge, or outside of character knowledge, it's shared that she's never gonna like him, no matter what.
I personally don't think that's true as Abby and sort of in Henley's head. But I don't think she will ever fully trust him. She might
Tolerate.
I think
and give him a little bit of leash, I think.
Abby, I think the only way that that's going to happen is if, like, he actually saves you from dying.
Yeah.
That's the only way that's going to happen.
I think
So you're saying there's a chance.
all I'm saying is like
David's like, oh.
Henley realizes from that argument that she is being racist and all that. The thing is from her background is she has trusted goblins and sort of befriended goblins before.
Well,
and they betrayed her in the fort.
you have legit trauma.
Yeah.
Like when you've been bit by a dog, you're not going to trust another dog.
Yeah.
Or if you are, it's going to take a lot of time.
Yeah.
And it's going to be that one dog. And that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, I think Tick knows that too. Like, he doesn't know all of your details and all of the trauma and all of the betrayal that has really happened, right? Other than the fact that, like, you have said, I don't even know if you've even said it to Tick, that, like, you know, you've trusted goblins before.
She said it to Delvin.
Yeah. But there was things that were kind of said or kind of mentioned in that argument, but Tick kind of cut you off and didn't let you do anything or didn't let you explain anything. But he just kept saying, I'm not them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not them. And I think a lot of that stems from his own trauma too. From when, probably back when he met Fenrir. In the beginning, when Fenny still looked like he did when he was 22. But yeah, I think that they're just feeding off of each other's traumas right now, and it's going to take a lot for both of them. But at least on one side, somebody is trying.
Also, it's really hard to play someone so racist. I am a very much like, I hate conflict. I will bend and not fight like that. So playing someone who does is really, really hard for me.
I also think that as much as I hate playing the person who you hate, I think it makes it easier if you know that the person who is playing that person you trust.
Yeah.
Very much so.
No, that's
Because you
true.
know that it's not necessarily directed at you. It's a safe space still where you can be that character and separate the character's emotions from who you are. Because I could not play that same character towards Zeb. I could not play that same character towards Elsie. I love bantering with Elsie.
Oh, yeah.
I love bantering with Elsie, but I could not yell at Elsie like that.
Just kidding. I don't know why I'd be offended by
I
that.
don't think I could yell at...
Yell at me!
I'm not gonna lie. I don't think I could yell at David or my husband like that. In character, even.
That's a lie.
No. Okay, look. We can have disagreements and arguments,
Guys.
and that's different.
Let's not bring this in here.
All I have to say is, I gotta work tomorrow,
You,
and then she'd turn on me and just put all that anger into the character.
no. That's different. Though.
That's where
No.
she taps into it.
No. I don't even know where that came from. Not knowing. But I think that is... It makes it easier. I don't know. You probably could do that with David. You could probably do that with Elsie.
I've never yelled at David.
I didn't. You are a better person than me.
David's never yelled at me.
We've written angry letters at each other.
Oh, yes.
Oh, there you go. See?
Very good. Very healthy.
Because we both hate being interrupted.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because once one of us gets interrupted during a heated discussion,
We're
we
done.
just shut down.
This has been therapy with the Tomies.
Yeah. For real.
I had a question, though.
Yeah, go.
When Boudreaux was talking with Tick,
Oh,
Boudreaux said that he did not want to be a dwarf.
That was a fun discussion.
Yeah, what about it?
I have assumptions on what race he would want to be,
Oh.
but what would Boudreaux like to be if not a dwarf?
Dragonborn.
Wait, I thought you were going to say lizard folk.
Yeah, that's what I thought you were gonna go.
Huh. What is Elsie? Does Elsie want it or
Nope.
Boudreaux?
I would want to be a gnome.
Elsie
love
wants to be a gnome.
Nope, he would want to be a dragonborn.
Why?
Dragonborn are. I haven't played it very well, so.
Better draconic, duh.
But Dragonborn are supposedly like in his culture. They're the. They're like the. I don't even know how to say this. They're like the perfect lizard folk. Is kind of like what they are.
Oh.
Like if lizard folk were to be perfected, they would be Dragonborn. So I meant to do this with Draconis, but I
Dracarys.
Dracarys.
thank you, Dracarys, but it didn't. Yeah, I sucked. But Boudreaux was supposed to be like, oh my gosh, that's a Dragonborn! Holy freaking heck, that is so cool, and like kind of worship him, kind of, not like truly, but I didn't. But
Yep.
it's supposed to be like that.
Yep.
Also, anybody else will wish to change races? We know that Tick wants to be tall.
Oh yeah, he just wants to be tall. He's taller. He's tired of being shorter than the grass.
Oh, for the record, there's a reason why the people that come to Boudreaux in a dream happen to be Dragonborn. Just for the record.
I do remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he'd want to be somebody. Tick would want to be somebody tall. Doesn't care what race, as long as they're tall. Because he's really short, even for kind of a. Yeah. I'm gonna skip Evan.
He'd like to be undead.
Wait, like an actual undead? I mean, vampires. There's those stuff.
Fenrir probably, at the moment, I can't think of him wanting to be another race. He likes being an elf.
That's
That might be Zeb bleeding into that too.
Oh, maybe he just loves himself
But,
so much.
That's a good thing. Very healthy.
Self-love is a good thing.
Another race. Yeah, at the moment, I'm going to say no.
I think Henley would like to have more elven blood.
Mm,
Maybe half elf or full elf.
fair. David?
Cool.
What would you be?
What would I be as
Oh.
David?
Yeah.
As David or as Willow
Sure.
or as
As David, I'd be a Gith.
A what?
Yeah, that's your
Gith?
favorite.
That's my favorite race.
Robert Pumpkin.
Well,
Robert Pumpkin, a human.
for the record,
Ha.
it was so much fun talking to Becky.
Oh my goodness.
That was a good conversation.
Yeah.
And it was so cool, by the way. I expected Fenrir to go after Henley after we conversed. But I loved how you were like, no.
I'm too tired.
No way, dude.
Yeah.
And I thought that was awesome.
I got to focus on me right now.
Yeah, and it wasn't like, yes, it was focusing on him. Yes, he was tired, but it was like, Tick did have some good points.
She's
Oh.
not
And,
running
like, he
off to get
knows-
eaten by a bug. It's okay.
Right, and he's like making sure like they weren't just running off and were going to leave.
Yep.
But it's like there's been some tension brewing, and at some point he recognized that, hey, it needs to be addressed, and when that happens, he'll try to be the peacemaker. And I think you'll see in 99 when we ravine that it'll be like the conversation between him and Henley will kind of go toward that. Like initially he started with Roscoe. How's he feeling about that? Okay, yeah, we need to sleep, but then we'll get deeper into the conversation with Tick and himself.
Yeah. I like that. Well, I really enjoyed our conversation. And I thought it was so much fun to implement all of my psychology things.
Yay!
And specifically that you figured it out yourself. And that was Boudreaux's goal. Was to let
Figure it
you
out
figure it out. And he would help if needed. And I also thought that maybe Delvin was the perfect person to talk to Henley. Maybe not.
Abby knew he was.
but I thought that was like it was just meant to be.
Yeah, I didn't know what to say. Like, honestly, I was
No,
just like,
that's fair.
what is Delvin going to say?
Well, I think we'll end it. So what I do not want for Christmas, some Jell-O. I don't want it. I'm sorry.
What?
I will get it myself. What about you, David?
What do I don't want for Christmas?
Yeah.
Presents.
Cool. All right. Evan?
Anarchy and chaos.
Sounds good. Becky?
I don't want my kids to fight and not like anything that they got or fight over the things that they did get.
Okay. Very fair. Very fair. Abby?
My statement stands.
Yeah. It's just kind of
That's what I meant.
I don't want my kids to be disappointed or angry and fight at Christmas.
Fair. Zeb?
Yeah, same lines. Drama between my siblings.
Well, I don't want drama either, but I also don't want Jell-O. Okay. We'll see you guys later. Thank you for joining us. This was extra long just for you. And write Boudreaux a letter. Goodbye.
Bye.
Question then is, how did our characters and how did we feel about Roscoe's death? Is that,
Yeah,
the
and-
question?
Why did you react the way you did? Explain
'Kay.
everything you desire.
Who do you want to start?
you. Go.
You.
Me.
You.
And we'll end with the DM. We'll go this way.
Roscoe has decided. In his death,
His last wish.
he would like to hear about how we feel.
It was actually harder than I anticipated.
Yeah.
Like when it first happened, I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. Like it like stuff happens. It's just the way it rolls. And then as I got into the conversations started talking about it in character with, I can't remember who it was in 97. But I think, or in 90, I remember who I was talking to.
When you sent the letter.
Yeah, it was when I was sending the letter. It was when I was sending the letter in 98.
To Lila.
To Lila Garotha. Like, there was some very raw emotion. It'll be interesting to see if it comes across in recording. But yeah, it's sad. It's sad, and it's sad, and it's hard, and it sucks. And I didn't ever think that in a game situation that I could like feel that way. But it's just like, yeah, I mean, we've been with this character for 3.5 years, and we've had a lot of great experiences, and you know, him being the leader, and it's hard, and I think it's going to take. Personally, it's going to take a few days to process, and I will, and you know, it'll work out. Like, it'll be fine. Like, it'll be okay. It's a TTRPG, but it still brings up the raw emotion, the raw sadness,
Shock.
just that shock. It's sad and it sucks.
Thank you. She
Uh,
cried.
I knew when so we got this squishy cheese here, right? That's like supposed to be like a stress ball thing. I knew when he grabbed that stinking cheese, the squeezy cheese, that he was dead. So I kind of like squoze his hand and was processing and stuff like that. I was not happy, but I was okay with it until what I was feeling was in total conflict than what my character was feeling, and then I started to cry.
Yeah.
So my character doesn't care. He doesn't not care because he liked Roscoe. Death is not a big. It's not an uncommon thing.
Well, and you
Especially
you
for
didn't know
goblins.
Roscoe.
I didn't know Roscoe that long, other than he stuck up for me and was like, you know what, you back off, you go in your corner, he'll go in his corner, and we'll all be happy, we'll be fine. And he embodied a lot of the things that Tick wants to see and sees as the good in the world, right?
Yeah.
So he said that is no longer in this plane of existence currently. But death is death. He's not here anymore. We don't need to mourn him. We can mourn him, and the way we mourn him is by taking his stuff, and he lives on through his stuff. And if I need it, I need it. And then I started crying.
Which is kind of what we do nowadays.
And that happened.
Yeah.
But it wasn't sad tears, it was angry tears. I'm like,
Conflict.
I
Yeah.
think they were angry tears at me specifically.
yeah, 'cause I asked him why.
I'll address all of that after Dave.
I asked him why. Yeah, that was it. And then all the weird looks I was getting at the table because I'm like, oh, but this is what my character would do, but I feel bad because this is what my character would do.
It was hilarious.
It was fun to watch. She's like, I don't want to say it, but I'm gonna say it.
Yeah.
Loot the body, which I thought it was very fitting. I thought that was an amazing choice,
It led to
difficult choice.
very
but
good
difficult
things.
choice.
yes,
Yeah.
Okay, you, Elsie, go.
When he was gone, Boudreaux was sad. But he, having been given the gift of the re-life, or whatever you want to call it,
Reincarnation?
no,
No.
because I wasn't going to reincarnate Roscoe.
Revivify.
Oh, revivify. Okay,
Yeah,
bring
revivify
back
him.
From the possibility of a next life.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but he had that feeling that everybody felt of like, nope, I'm good. And Boudreaux was like, okay. Like, is he sad? Yes. And he's like, crap, what are we gonna do? I never listened to the adult conversations. But he's like, okay, let's go. And he's trying to let him go, but there was all this conflict going on, and he kind of felt he needed to step in at the moment. And so he did. I think it's also partly the shock too. Like, it hasn't hit him yet. And at the moment, he's just in the mode of, we got to figure this out. I got to make sure everybody's okay, and then maybe it'll hit him later. That's kind of where he's at.
What about Elsie?
Oh, Elsie felt the same way.
Unless that has not been discovered yet,
Yes.
how did Boudreaux feel when Roscoe did not
Want to come back?
take the revivify?
Well, he felt your feelings, and just like with the undead that one guy.
Azil.
Huh?
Azil.
Oh, that is his name. I was gonna guess that.
Good job.
Thank you. That Azil did. He brought back the dead, and maybe he's right. Maybe they needed to come back so that they could figure things out. But you were good, and Boudreaux believes that there's no need to bring anybody back, especially if they don't want to. And he's glad that you're happy, and he's like, I guess he's learned what he's need to. He's a little upset though, of course, but I don't think it's hit him yet. So,
Abby?
Henley is very angry that Roscoe chose not to come back. Just angry that he's dead. And she's lost another comrade. And I'm just really sad because I feel Roscoe held the group together. He was the leader. He meant Henley respected him a lot. She respected him the most out of everyone in the group, including Lila and Garotha, especially after Lila and Garotha left.
Fair.
And so now she just feels, I think, some of her feelings that came back. Like, when her father died, she felt abandoned. I feel like she's reliving some of those emotions, plus the new ones, just feeling like a lost little child again, because she trusted Roscoe to pull her back when she's being childish and dumb. And now she doesn't have that anymore. Yeah.
And how does Abby feel?
I'm sad because Roscoe held the group together, and he just got this really cool arc with becoming a paladin, and now that's all gone. And he was just the real hero out of the party.
okay.
David.
So, I'm conflicted. Because as a storyteller, as somebody creating the story I like it. It intrigues me to know where things are going to go. It heightens my anticipation and be like, ooh, what's going to happen? As a DM, I'm saddened because, like you said, Roscoe was the one keeping the group together. It was, I enjoyed Roscoe and his ability to convince people, to persuade people. I don't know how many times as an NPC I was so staunch about, okay, not going to change my mind, not going to change my mind. And then Roscoe speaks up. It's like, oh, you have a point. You know, there was a lot of times that happened. And so, I mean, Evan's still Evan. He'll probably have a similar character that'll do that. But I don't think as much as Roscoe, you know. So that character, I think he'll continue to live on through your guys, for everybody's decisions from here on out. But yeah, it's sad, but I am very intrigued on what will come from this. How will the group continue? I guess it's your turn, Evan.
Oh, is it me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Whew. So I'm very upsetty spaghetti, to be honest. Like it's hard, you know. When I started this character, started Roscoe, you know, Dave and I had talked and laid this out and made adjustments and stuff, but I had no real backstory. I had nothing. It's like I had no idea where I was going. And especially over the course of the last year, he's really, you know, for me, really, really developed and really found, you know, learned who Roscoe was and stuff, and you know, doing what Roscoe does. Then you know, there's the whole arc of the Paladin changing and everything, which was really, really excited to explore and you know have fun with and stuff. And you know, I joked about it even at the beginning of these 3 episodes. Hey, I finally got to do something besides throw my daggers. And I did stuff. You know, I didn't do anything super crazy, but you know, I saved Kath's life, so that's a huge thing. And I think that's, you know, for Roscoe, that's really about as best of a thing you could ask for his last real action to be. Is, you know, putting it on the line for someone else, because that ultimately defines who Roscoe is.